hey there, everyone. It's really nice to be with you again. As we spend our time together today, I want to think about cleaning. And you think, oh, who wants to think about that? Well, some cleaning I don't like to think about either. However, pressure washing I like a lot. Now, some of you who live in dry climates may have no idea what pressure washing is or why you have to do it. I didn't either when I lived in Denver, which was a very dry place. But when you live in a wet, humid place, the fungus, which we might know as mold or mildew, grows a lot, especially in the shade where nothing ever has a chance to dry out. So, periodically, I have to pressure wash my driveway, and I have a big driveway. Now, that kind of cleaning I actually like to do. I love the instant gratification of swiping that wand with all that high-powered water coming out, and instantly all the mess is gone. So I'm standing out here enjoying my pressure washing under the trees, and I thought this is such a great metaphor. And as you probably know, I'm very visual, so I like metaphors and analogies so that we can see more clearly what our situation is. We need to talk about how instantly things can become clean in our lives. The solid driveway underneath is not disturbed or damaged at all by the mildew that grows on top of it. So once you clean the mildew off, there's that driveway. It's just as clean and pure and solid and sturdy and intact as it was before the stuff grew on the surface. And we remain as innocent and clean no matter our mistakes, which are basically on the surface. Okay, since I'm now going to compare Denver and Florida, Denver with this dryness where nothing grows that we have to clean off, and in Florida where it does a lot. So I thought, it's like this stuff that grows on the surface of the driveway represents all of that emotional lack of regulation. And that leads to our confusion, it leads to thoughts, it leads to fear, it leads to all the stuff that interferes with experiencing our own power and our own strength, our own peace of mind. And of course, if my example is going to work, then I have to have Denver represent that place of continuing uninterrupted peace that we come to when we stop judging, thinking, staying in the past and future, making everything all about me and really important. I'm not really trying to castigate Florida and elevate Denver, but I have to do that for my example to work out here. My thought then, of course, was, what can we do that works as efficiently and as effectively as pressure washing the driveway with its instant success to return to our own sense of peace? So naturally, what that is about is forgiveness and releasing and not storing up all that stuff that we think is in some sort of a memory bank. In other words, it's like releasing our past thinking and, of course, our future thinking, but let's stick with the past right now. We've talked before about the fact that the past does not actually exist in some specific concrete place, like reaching into a memory bank, picking out a memory, thinking about it for a while, and then putting it back. Every single time we decide to think about any given topic, we grow it anew. And those beliefs just build up and build up like all that mildew. Wow, that means every time I decide to think about something, I can think about it differently. I can literally recreate a memory. Now your ego mind goes, no, that's not fair. That's what really happened, and you're just trying to cover it up with some sort of pretend-like stuff. Wow, that ego mind sure does get nervous and distressed at the possibility that we can upgrade our memories so that nobody's a victim and nobody's a villain. Now, let me be really clear that I'm not talking about denial as we understand such things, where we're convinced that it's real and it's happened and that my memory is accurate and permanent. So denial is believing this absolutely happened, this is the real truth, and now I am left with nothing but to just pretend and bury it, and I'm just at the mercy of this forever. Now, our perspective is coming from realizing the falsehood about permanent memories from a neurological point of view, and that we have the freedom to change these, to reframe these, to have a new version of these, an updated and improved version anytime we choose. And when we do choose, we have instant clean. A Course in Miracles states in one of the lessons, the childhood you remember never occurred. That is an attention-getting statement, but one we really do need to pay attention to. So as I stood there with my pressure washer, I thought about my mother. And I always had very nice parents. They were garden variety parents who didn't really know anything about child development. So there were times, certainly in my early days, where I felt kind of adrift and like I wasn't being properly nurtured or cared for emotionally. Certainly always physically I was. So since I have carried that for a long time, I thought it is time to upgrade that memory. But here was the interesting experience. I'm going to see in my mind my mother sitting on the floor with me, and maybe we're playing with dolls or playing dress up in old clothes like kids used to do a long time ago. You didn't just go to a store and buy costumes. You made stuff up with whatever you could find. So I just envisioned that lovely connection. And then you know what happened? It was as if all of a sudden I had the sense that I was talking to my mother, who died in terms of what we think of dying about 25 or 6 years ago. And it was as if she was saying, oh, thank you. I didn't know. I really did do the best I could. And thank you kind of for letting me off the hook. I don't think that was exactly the word, but it was like there was such a flood of relief that I felt on her part at no longer having to be remembered and penciled in as the mother who didn't always do things right in the nurturing department. And for me too, after all, I'm also a parent, and who among us would not love it if somebody said to us, every single thing you think you've done wrong has had not the slightest effect, we're all fine, we're all safe, we're all loved, you're not dangerous. What could be better than that? This really, remembering your past differently, is a great idea. Not only a great idea, it feels fresh and clean inside. Right in this moment, when I'm not thinking about anything and I'm just being present, no punishment is deserved. It wouldn't occur to me that anything possibly is going to go wrong at this moment. And it has the same effect as pressure washing the driveway. You just let go and release, and you can feel the great sense of relief. And for our example today, I hope you can realize that underneath our actions in the world of time and space, everything is still as clean and sturdy and true and peaceful as that driveway is when I get that messy mildew off the top. So we can clean up our thinking, and then everything gets better and better and better, and you get to feel larger and stronger and more in charge and more aware and more supported and more cared for and more embraced. And that's the default position if we do not go wandering off into the past or the future and torturing ourselves with some sort of fantasies about our transgressions. Your ego loves that, but it wrecks your peace of mind. Now, see, your ego thinks you're undeserving of deep kindness and success, so it's going to greatly object to this no transgressions idea. It depends on them to keep you enslaved, to keep you in all that mildew. It's our responsibility to think in such a way that everyone is uplifted. That's what releasing and forgiveness is all about. And it's not being phony and dishonest. It's being true to your truth and to yourself and to the love that you are. Have a wonderful time until we meet again. Bye.